Hey folks, this is Jake Davis with a wrestling recap for you tonight. I know I'm getting to this one a bit late, but I'm busy on Mondays. Last night was WWE's Clash of Champions Gold Rush, live from the Thunderdome in the Amway Center in Orlando here in beautiful Paradise, Florida. The first thing about the subtitle Gold Rush, that's a fine pay per view name in and of itself, or some kind of magic gimmick you could call a gold rush. It's I didn't see the point of the subtitle. We did one of these for Extreme Rules too. Didn't make sense there either. And I don't know. I guess, and also there's the thing of them calling the show Clash of Champions, which was a Dusty Rhodes show, and the Rhodes family is kind of their rivals right now. Anyhow, the one thing too, real quick, the women's champion, the SmackDown Women's title was supposed to be between Bayley and Nikki Cross, but Nikki Cross wasn't cleared to wrestle medically for whatever reason. And same thing with the women's tag champion Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax. So those matches aren't going to happen now. And with those two matches from the main roster canceled, they still put the SmackDown tag team titles on the pre-show. I love the all the hype into this to go into this too. The one night a year, every championship must be defended, except for the NXT titles and the NXT UK titles. And the 24/7 title doesn't really have scheduled title matches. And since the women's tag champs can't work tonight, so the one night of the year where half the belts in the company are defended. So the opening bout is a triple threat ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. AJ Styles versus Sami Zayn versus Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy is the official champion. Sami Zayn left the company shortly after WrestleMania. He never lost the title, but he was stripped. That's not stopping him from walking around SmackDown week after week with his own belt, pretending he's still officially the champion. AJ Styles is in this match because he won the tournament after Sami was stripped of the title, and he lost to Jeff Hardy due to slightly controversial circumstances. So that's how we got here. This is a really, really, really good match. Jeff Hardy has always been really great at doing innovative shit in ladder matches, letting his imagination run wild. Oh man, there's too much to one point, Sami Zayn gets thrown into a ladder that's set up into in the corner. He bounces off the ladder, rolls up it, bounces off the top rope, falls backwards, and hits the ladder again. That's two ladder bumps in the same spot. What the hell? There's a great Buster Keaton thing where they fall. AJ and Jeff fall off the ladder. The ladder's going down with them, and it almost hits Sami Zayn. It's like he's under there cowering, but it gets caught on the turnbuckle right before it hits and squashes him. Thought that was funny. There's a great bit where Jeff pushes the ladder down that Sami Zayn is on climbing and it goes right into AJ Styles' face as he's been there going for the phenomenal forearm. There's fucking Jeff Hardy. The ladder's getting tipped down. He's climbing up the ladder upside down, trying to get back to the mat. And then the whole thing crumbles and he falls over to the outside. That was insane. Just all kinds. It was just one insane spot after the other in this match. A real great ladder match. The finish comes as Sami Zayn busts out. He busts out handcuffs and he puts the handcuff through Jeff Hardy's earlobe, his ear piercing, and handcuffs him to a ladder. Jeff Hardy's trying to work with this the whole match. Zayn eventually handcuffs himself to AJ Styles. AJ keeps going dead weight. AJ Styles got some fireman's carry, trying to climb him up the ladder to get the things. Sami Zayn spits out the key, uncuffs himself, handcuffs AJ Styles to the ladder, steals the championship. I mean, this is This was great, top to bottom. A great match, great spots, good story going into the match. Great work from all three guys. Actually, no one sleeps on this one. You know what I mean? And what a brilliant finish! Yeah, that dastardly Sami Zayn is now the new two-time IC champion, and he's walking up the ramp. He runs into Caleb Bratson and tells her, "I'm not the new two-time champion. I am the unofficial champion. I am the undisputed champion. I never lost the belt." I love that consistency to it. That's cool. Girls, give me a minute. Kids always getting into stuff. Anyhow, I don't edit, baby. This is how we roll. Backstage, R-Truth is walking around in disguise looking like a member of the Wyatt family. When Drew Gulak is doing squat lunges behind him, runs up, rolls him up, and Drew Gulak runs off as the new 24/7 champion. So at least they acknowledge that belt tonight. Up next is the Raw Women's Championship. Zelina Vega versus Asuka. Asuka, of course, is the champion. Zelina got this match a few weeks ago after an upset victory over Mickie James. There's no... considering this is her first championship match, I was expecting more pageantry for this match for Zelina, but they don't go for that. It's not a squash. It's a good story. Again, Asuka kind of underestimating Zelina, and Zelina getting close a few times to actually winning it. A far cry from her her ill-fortuned run as TNA Women's Tag Champ with Sarita back, I think, damn near 10 years ago. Yeah, she's definitely not. She's so. I mean, 10 years. You keep doing the same thing for 10 years, you're gonna get good at anything. But yeah, she's doing real well. She did a good match. She lost clean. It's not a lot of fluid chain wrestling and reversal stuff, but it was this is a good work match. After the match, Asuka goes to show her some respect, offers her a handshake. Zelina goes for a bow out of respect to her heritage. Asuka bows back. She kicks Asuka in the face and then runs off. Asuka's going to kill her. And she's she's not even selling the kick. Like, she's like yelling, that kind of shit. I better slow down before somebody calls me racist for doing that kind of shit. Next up is, oh boy, United States Championship. Apollo Crews with Ricochet in his corner, taking on Bobby Lashley with the Hurt Business in his corner. Bobby Lashley is the U.S. champion, won back at Payback. Cedric Alexander comes out to the ring for some reason, I don't know why. And Shelton Benjamin leaves right away. So MVP and Ricochet stay at ringside. And look, I liked how this match is definitely different from their Payback match, because you definitely see Apollo bust out his power, really show you how strong he is. Many times he just gets incredible feats of strength over on Bobby Lashley. Lashley's just too big, too good for him. Eventually hits a beautiful palm press slam, locks him in the Hurt Locker, and retains U.S. title. I don't ever... Look, man, since the lockdown started, it feels, maybe a little after, this has been the U.S. title story. I'm ready to move on, man. Have somebody else feud with Bobby Lashley. God. And it's even worse in... Same situation, but even worse in the next match. The Raw Tag Team titles. The Street Profits, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, defending against Andrade Cien Almas and Angel Garza again. Since before WrestleMania, man. It's every goddamn week. I'm sick of seeing these guys fight. I missed the comedy shit from the summer with the Viking Raiders. Well, this was on its way to being the best match in their series, but Angel Garza gets hurt. They call it home. They take it home. I mean, clearly, Dawkins hits a lowdown, and Andrade kicks out clear as day. But the referee counts as 3 and rings the bell because they just wanted to take it home if Angel was hurt. This is the third or fourth time this has happened on the show in the last few weeks. If they're going to just make it that zero tolerance, no fucking around. If you're not responding to the referee calls it right there. I'm fine with that, but don't call phantom pinfalls and submissions that weren't there. Just make it a knockout. Just this person, Mickey James can't continue. Angel Garza cannot continue. Just do it. Just do it right. You know what I mean? There's no need for the bogus shit we can see, and it confuses the shit. Dawkins, thinking they're about to do some more spots. That's not his finisher, but now he has to sell like he won. Yeah, it was clearly very awkward amongst everybody involved. Up next, you see Drew Gulak backstage. Goes to give a victory speech about becoming the 24/7 Hardcore Champion. He wants to dedicate his win to Akira Tozawa, who was eaten by a shark last Monday night. That was so funny. Truth runs up, rolls him up, and gets the title back, making Truth, the 7,000-time champion, as Michael Cole said. Up next was supposed to be the SmackDown Women's Championship. Bayley defending against Nikki Cross, but as I said at the beginning, Nikki Cross cannot work this match. Anyhow, kids are troublemakers, man. Anyhow, Bayley comes out, cuts a promo, and here's the thing. It's understanding, every title has to be on the line. But if the girl can't work, they should just cancel the match. Still fine with Bayley coming out, cutting a promo. But what happens is kind of lame. Because, look, there's no need for them to fight anyways. Nikki Cross is in the middle of her and Alexa Bliss just broke up after being together forever, and they're starting to feud. Same thing's happening with Bayley and Sasha Banks. So both these girls are feuding with their ex-tag team partners and don't really have a story going into this match with one another. So, yeah, there's a good reason this match could have just been left on the chop block altogether. Anyhow, Bayley comes out. She makes an open challenge. Asuka comes out looking to become a unified champion. A few moments into the match, Bayley hits her with a chair, gets disqualified. And right after the disqualification, Sasha Banks hits neck in a cast. Lots of stuff with the chairs, lots of fighting back, but the story is that Sasha's clearly coming back too soon. She's able to avoid further damage, but it looks like she's just hurt herself trying to make Bayley suffer just a little. Good storyline, but I think that they kind of decided to pull the trigger on this maybe a few weeks too early, purely because they didn't have a match now. Next up. We'll get into the great shit. The last hour of the show was just meat and potatoes, man. This was an ambulance match for the WWE Championship, and Drew McIntyre defending against Randy Orton. And going into this match, Randy Orton hit Drew McIntyre with 3 punts, cracked his jaw, and the whole storyline is, could Drew McIntyre even work the match? Which is so fun. We got this kayfabe thing when there's actual wrestlers who couldn't work the show. But anyhow, this match could have been a great story match for Randy Orton to retire on. The Legend Killer character finally gets his comeuppance as all the legends interfering throughout the course of the match, all jumping Randy Orton. Big Show chokes him through a table. Christian jumps him in the back. Shawn Michaels hits him with a super kick, knocks him off the ambulance in a funny moment. They use steel chairs, they use crutches. Great spot. Drew McIntyre goes for a Claymore. He misses, and he kicks the fucking door off the ambulance. That was great. Great, horror movie bit where Randy Orton's, really milking it like he's shutting them in, and just the way Drew McIntyre's using all his strength to push the door open and just get his hand around and gouge Orton in the eyes or whatever. It was a great bit there. Finally hits the Claymore, gonna finish it. Decides different, hits him with the punt of his own, shuts it, and wins the match. I would say this was Drew McIntyre's best match since becoming WWE Champion, in my opinion. I love this match. It was one of my favorite matches of the night. After the match, they cut to Ric Flair is now in the driver's seat of the ambulance, and he drives off with Randy Orton to probably torture him some more. Main event time for the Universal Championship. Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman in his corner, the freshly turned heel Roman Reigns, taking on his blood relative, his cousin, Jey Uso. This is a big deal. Not since 1994. If two blood relatives feuded over the WWE World Title that I know of, that I can remember. I mean, actual relatives, not Edge and Christian or Ken and Taker kind of thing. Jeff Hardy and Jeff and Matt had lots of feuds, lots of fights over the years, but never for the world title. Not in WWE. They fought over the world title in TNA though. Anyhow, this was just what an emotional, what a great main event this was. It's a soft squash. Roman Reigns dominates it. It's basically one-sided, but Jey Uso's flurries do come close to putting the big dog down. One of my favorite spots is it when, I've never seen this before, Jey Uso got some pinned after a big splash. Roman Reigns kicks out the big splash, but in kicking out, low blows him. That's great, man. That's smart, innovative heel shit. The finish comes, Roman just starts hitting Superman punches and spears one after the other, not going for a pinfall. He wants to humiliate Jey Uso. He wants Jey Uso to admit that, call me your tribal chief. I am the head of the family, Your children eat because of me, not because of you. Kind of shit. Uso won't do it. He won't give in. Jimmy Uso finally comes in there, still injured, begging Roman to stop. Roman won't stop beating him. Jey's begging him not to throw in the towel. Eventually, Jimmy Uso throws in the towel, with Roman Reigns winning a pay-per-view main event match by knockout. Love it. After the match, he says he's going to keep beating him up, and just to get rid of him, Jimmy says, yeah, you're the tribal chief, man. Whatever. Fine. Just leave him alone. Paul Heyman grabs the celebratory lei that Jey Uso came to the ring with, puts it over Roman Reigns, and the show goes off the air with Roman standing over his own family. Just pure evil. Pure evil heel turn for Roman Reigns. This is great. Was amazing. It was despicable. It was wicked. It was what a great thing. And was it the best pay-per-view ever? I still hate all the fucking canned sound. But look, man, between that opening ladder match and those last two matches, those two world title matches, a great show. Great show. I like the storytelling in the Asuka match. But yeah, man, there's no need for Asuka to come out for a second match against Bayley that only didn't even go like 5 minutes. And I'm just burnt out. I don't need to see the Street Profits versus Dawson versus Garza and Andrade anymore. I don't need to see the Bobby Lashley fight or anyone from the Hurt Business fight Ricochet or Apollo Crews anymore. It's just that whole thing is just so played out. Anyhow, I'm gonna give the show an A. I thought it was a really, really fun show, especially bookended by its highlights. What'd y'all think of it? Would you enjoy? No, I got this out late. Should go eat now. Suppose it's always good to eat at least once a day. Anyhow, I'm Jake Davis, and I'll be catching you on the fly.